Emily, you know what I hate most about myself?
Enlighten me.
I know what people taste like, and I know that babies taste best.
Here's the thing, is you don't sound too upset about that.
Well, no, because it was so much better than the bug protein blocks. Let's go back to the old ways. Let's go back to that baby filet.
I was gonna say, I'm shocked that they stopped altogether, but...
Well, who's to say? We only got Chris Evans' perspective.
Of course.
Mr. Curtis. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm okay. I got my 2:30 coffee on me. I'm doing all right. About to talk a Bong Joon-ho.
I know. I mixed together some apple cider and some chai tea.
Oh.
So a cider, if you will.
Oh my god.
Feeling very autumnal. I feel like some light caffeination. Don't want too much caffeine in the afternoon, obviously. Because we're here to do our podcast. It's called The Swamp. It's an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
And to do some housekeeping, we don't usually do housekeeping at the top of the episodes. We usually just start rambling. We honestly usually forget to even say the name of the show, so that's one thing. But just two agenda items, quick on the housekeeping note. I soft launched this in the caption of a previous episode, but I want to formally say from my lips to the mic to your headphones to your ears that The Swamp comes out on Thursdays now.
Yep.
Woo! Any objections? No, it comes out on Thursdays. I said so. Because we always record on Tuesdays, so I'm like, why not give myself 2 days to edit instead of one, right? Who fucking cares?
Yeah, the turnaround's still a little quick.
So do not fret if Wednesday morning you're clocking in for your commute and The Swamp is not there. Rest assured, we'll be there on Thursdays. That's the new
for your Thursday
sketch.
commute.
And then for the second agenda item, this is very well in advance, but I'm a slow reader. I like to plan well ahead of time. It takes me a long time to read a book. So Emily and I have decided to do a little book club, a little swamp book club for Mickey 17. The book is Mickey 7.
Yes,
and the two of us are going to read the book before the Bong Joon-ho movie comes out next year. So we've got plenty of time to crank through one novel. But I'm saying it here, we'll check in periodically on this. But just rest assured, if any of you listeners would like to read along with us, just read it sometime before the movie comes out, and we'll be talking about it. And if we want to have a little swamp book club discussion, I think that could be really cute.
Please.
But yeah, for all you fellow slow readers out there, get it now. Let it sit on your shelf for a couple of months. Let it kind of haunt you a little bit. And then
collect a little bit of dust.
And then crank it out, a month or two before it actually comes out. But I just wanted to announce that because, let's get everyone in there. Let's all read Mickey 7.
Might as well.
And that loops us back, of course, to what we will be talking about today, which is I originally thought that we had flopped this. Because we're doing all movies this month that came out 10 years ago. So in 2014, making them 10 years old this year. And I was like, fuck, we screwed it up. Snowpiercer came out in 2013.
Sure.
But I fact-checked myself a little bit. The international world global release was in 2013, but it didn't hit cinemas in America until October of 2014. So... as American citizens ourselves, I will say that this counts close enough. Yeah. And that Snowpiercer is maybe a little older than 10, but she can lie about her age. Sure. I'm not going to clock her. I'm not going to pull the receipts.
Exactly. Don't we all?
On Miss Snowpiercer, which is Bong Joon-ho's first English film.
Like,
predominantly. Yeah, it's predominantly in English. It was his first movie that was, most of his movies before were all in Korean. Of course. Then we saw sort of a blend of English and Korean in Okja, but I do believe that movie is considered to be predominantly in English as well. And that came out in 2017, which was just shortly after this. But then, of course, we all know Parasite was in Korean, and Mickey 17 will be in English, so... He's a man of many languages. He can do it all.
My
Director Bong.
Multilingual queen.
I am obsessed. I've been a Bong Joon-ho stan, whether I knew it or not, since I first saw this movie around when it came out, to be honest.
I was going to ask if you saw it in the theaters.
I didn't see it in the theaters, but it was definitely one of those, Tumblr post of anti-capitalist Marxist movies every young woman needs to see in order to, be woke on the internet. I probably watched it like, at 1.5 speed in, flipped mirrored reverse so it didn't get flagged for fucking piracy or anything. But I think I watched it probably a couple years after it came out. I want to say I was in like middle school to early high school, but I have a pretty strong memory of this being the first movie to sort of usurp National Treasure as my favorite film.
Wow.
I remember seeing this and being like, I've matured. I've grown. This is it for me now. I'm like, this movie's saying something. I'm like, this movie, this is number one now. And then I think it probably very shortly got usurped by Kill Bill and then yada, yada, yada.
Of course, yeah. Well, I think this is a good one to start with if you want to start kind of getting into movies, I guess. So around that age, like 14, 15 years old, however you were. Because it's so well done, but it's also like action-packed blockbuster, like stuff that has been palatable to you for a while now, but at the same time has so much more going on than just that.
Yes, this, like, at a first glance could be seen as like a textbook action movie. Like, I could see how a lot of people maybe went into this expecting one thing and then totally got derailed. Not to, no pun intended, but, weren't expecting, this level of commentary or, political themes in a Chris Evans action movie from 2013.
Yeah, that in itself is something. We'll talk about it, but...
Well, yes. But so what about you? When had you first seen this? So this was the first time. I'm so excited to hear about that. Because, this has been one of my favorite movies for a really long time. And I've really enjoyed, I don't think it clicked for me who Bong Joon-ho like really was as a director. I think this was still in the time of my life where I wasn't really thinking about who the people were who made movies. I feel like as a young person, you just kind of think about the actors. You don't think too much. And big names, Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, but you don't really like think too much about it.
Yeah.
But then it was post-Okja, pre-Parasite, like when all the press tour stuff started coming up for that, where I'm like, why do I know that? Like, why is this feeling familiar? And I'm like, oh fuck, that guy made Okja, and holy fuck, he made that other movie I love too. So I don't think I had really put together that he was the common thread between those until the guy. Like the pre-Oscar stuff, and I was like, damn, this guy fucking gets it. Like he makes good fucking movies and he fucking gets it. So we stand. I'm so excited for Mickey 17.
Oh, it looks so good. It looks so good already.
I know. The trailer that just came out, if you haven't watched, go watch the Mickey 17 trailer with Mr. Robert Pattinson doing his silly little voice. I'm in love.
Nothing more that I could ever want. I'm so glad that I had this to come to while I'm waiting for that movie, because there truly is something that is just so nice to have a brand new, to me, Bong Joon-ho movie to watch.
Yeah, right. I love having that to wait for, right? And exciting. I love to have a movie right around the corner that I can like get pumped about going to the theaters to see. Because I feel like those are kind of few and far between these days for me when I see one where I'm like legit marking my calendar. Like, yes. Like my ass is sad. You cannot tell me my ass is not sad because it's in the seat. They say, ma'am, you have to leave. I say, I'm simply so sad. Like, that's the energy. That's the energy I'm having for this one.
Of course.
And I love fantasy and sci-fi are my favorite genres for books, and I would argue probably for movies as well. So just really, really exciting to see someone so smart and good at what they do working in this space and saying really cool, smart stuff in a way that is still entertaining, funny, concise, like just well done. Because I think some movies that are trying to make big statements like that, it gets a little hazy or cloudy.
Absolutely.
And I think he's always so to the point, like he just really gets it.
Yeah, well, it was just really cool. Right now I'm in a big sci-fi phase. I've been watching like all of the Alien movies. I just watched Invasion of the Body Snatchers, a couple other ones mixed in there, but it's so cool to just see him do something so well and see, like, I mean, before this, like I said, all I had to go off of was Okja and Parasite. And Okja's like a bit, I wouldn't call it like sci-fi. I don't know, like what would you...
I mean, it's certainly like out of this world whimsical for sure.
Yes, of course, but it's not, I wouldn't call it sci-fi. This, oh my god, tickled my little sci-fi brain right now. It was so well done. The action was the perfect amount. I thought actors-wise, solid. Oh, poor little Billy. Yeah. Dead Billy Elliot. Oh my god.
Oh my god. He couldn't tap dance his way out of that one.
No.
Tom Holland, no! The whole time, that's all I could think.
Yeah.
I was like, gun to my head, you can't tell me that's Jamie Bell, that's Tom Holland. Like, those two men just look so much alike. Well, yes, of course.
Well, yeah, duh. But it was just exceptional. And it was so fun to watch. Oh my goodness. And obviously I knew the big monologue at the end and the plot twist with that sort of thing.
Oh, you did? Really?
I knew the whole, like, I know babies taste best. Like, I've just been on Twitter for long enough, you know?
Sure.
But I will say, I will give Chris Evans this one. I won't give him much, but I'll give it to him. I think he did well.
Yes.
And I wasn't mad about it.
So I'm a little surprised to hear that you knew anything about it, because I will, like, die on the hill that I think that this movie's criminally underrated. I think people don't talk about it enough. And I cannot believe that there hasn't been, like, a Snowpiercer renaissance in the post-Parasite Oscar win Bong Joon-ho.
Well, they made a TV show based off of it, didn't they?
Yes, there's a 4-season...
With Daveed Diggs?
Yeah, there's a 4-season TV show that I have never seen, and I simply have no desire to watch it. It's a prequel. We already kind of get the backstory, and we get... It's a concise beginning to end story. I don't think it needed to be extrapolated upon in any way.
Well, of course.
And I just am so exhausted of living in this era of media where it's like, if you like something, they assume you want 100 more of that thing. And I'm like, I can just like the thing. Just make me a new thing. Make me a new thing to like. Like, I don't need 100 replications, prequels, sequels, spin-offs, yada yada. Like, it's just so frustrating. It is good when a good one comes around every so often, such as like House of the Dragon, that kind of relifts my spirits, and it makes me think like maybe this is the only way people can get their projects greenlit these days, is if you just tack it onto a franchise and then say what you have to say. I mean, you got to work with the system to fight it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
It's just miserable. It's just miserable to me right now, just seeing. I am so fucking over it. And the originality of this movie is really something that stood out to me and why I think I liked it so much. I didn't know until I was just researching it a little bit. I didn't know it was based off of a comic book, a graphic novel from France.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's a French... Yeah, the 1982 French graphic novel called, like, however you say, like, The Train That Pierces the Snow in fucking French. Like, that's the name of it. But he definitely took a lot of liberties as far as, like, who the characters are. But it was mostly just, you know, the inspiration of the setting and the general tone of the train. You know, the world freezes and the train is going around, and it's the class system, and that's the setting. And he kind of took that and then made this movie within the context of the existing book. But this movie just really struck me the first time I watched it as like unlike anything I had ever seen. And I believe that I also thought it was going to be just a very bog standard action movie, which at the time I think I really liked action movies. I was really into early days Marvel, you know, like it was all very exciting. But I love, you know, the early Captain Americas,
of course.
The very first Avengers movie, like those were big cultural moments.
Well, yeah, it wasn't dog shit yet.
Yeah, and it's funny to me because I do believe the first Avengers movie came out in 2012, like the first big one. And so this movie is 2013.
Hot
so
off the press.
Chris Evans was, to us, Captain America at this time. So I
don't know if it had been culturally like ingrained that far yet, though. You know what I mean?
I mean, he certainly was Johnny Storm. We know that.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
But he was very much that guy. He was the action movie superhero guy. And whether we as a culture knew the longevity and withstanding of the current castings, you know, where 2012 was in Marvel, if we were like, they're going to do this same thing for 10 more years, like, holy fuck, I don't think we saw that coming. But Chris Evans was very much that guy to us. And seeing him like this, I think really shifted my perspective on not just him, but like how good directors and good filmmakers can position an actor to play to their strengths. Because I don't think his performance in this is anything special.
No, but I think he got the right direction. He's very much, to me, what Timothée Chalamet is right now. I am of the opinion that Timothée Chalamet is a fine actor, and he does great when he's got a great director, you know? Put him next to Greta Gerwig, I'm sold. But,
Denny?
you know... Yeah, Denny, fine. I have my own gripes about Dune, but yeah, I mean, will I be seeing the Bob Dylan movie? I might. Am I going to be pissed off about it?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Everyone's saying he kind of nailed the voice. I think the voice in the trailer sounds really silly, but a lot of people are like, y'all are forgetting that he was a theater kid. Like, he can do a silly voice. And I'm like, well,
yeah. Well, Bob Dylan's voice does sound stupid. That. Yeah.
Well, yes.
Well, yes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not sold on him these days. After the Wonka thing, he lost a lot of credibility.
After Kylie Jenner?
After Kylie Jenner, he's lost a lot of credibility. But yeah, I don't know. I think Chris Evans in this, I'll tell you what, he didn't speak all that much. He didn't need to. That was fine. He can be the big hulking guy with an axe at the front of the line, chopping down the train police.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not the
Absolutely. We've seen him.
Not the NBTA workers coming around to punch my ticket, and I like put the punch thing to my forehead and I click it and I say, "It's Blake," and then we all run through the gates of the train because they're not really checking ticket prices. Like, that's my fantasy world.
Yeah. No. Oh my god, the gun to the head moment was pretty crazy and epic. Genius, obviously.
It's moments like that where I did really find him astounding as an actor that I really believed. I really believed it. And I think the casting choice for him was probably really intentional and really smart to me, because I think his perception, the audience's perception of Chris Evans as an action hero, as a likable guy, as a superhero, he's somebody we inherently trust. We inherently position him as being a morally good character. And I think it was really important to establish Curtis from the very beginning as someone who we as an audience are behind, right? He's doing the right things. He's trying to help the people. He's trying to lead this revolution. He's willing to risk his life. We see from the very beginning, gun to the head. He's like, it's do or die for me. We have to get this done. And then, of course, we get the dead baby speech at the end where we learn the history of he did a lot of things he wasn't proud of, and that moral self-disgust with his own actions is what then caused him to take this sort of leadership role and being like, I have to, make up for what had happened in the past. And I think if we started out knowing that he had 8 babies, we would be a little suspicious of him.
Yeah, so there's a reason the mic drop comes when it does.
At the end, right? But this whole time, from the second you see him on screen, you say, "Oh, that's Chris Evans. He's my neighborhood protector. He's the guy you call when you need saving." Like, that's how he. So they didn't even need it. He doesn't even need to talk.
He's grabbing my cat out of the tree without a word.
Exactly. And he doesn't have to talk. He doesn't even really have to act. He just has to be that guy, and it works perfectly in the story.
Exactly.
Do I think any other kind of generic, fine actor, action-y guy could have done this? Like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think most people...
Put Aaron Taylor-Johnson in there?
That was legitimately the first person in my mind I had of okay, Rolodex, cycle them out. ATJ, who's next? Who's next? Aaron Taylor-Johnson now, though.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, he's in that Marvel got his ass, so
yeah. Now he has no water. He's dehydrated now because Marvel fucking got him. Marvel comes and sticks one of those hoses in you and just sucks out all your fluids and leaves you with 0% body fat and dehydrated as fuck. And they say, "Get to work."
Do you think it's jury duty almost?
Yes, you get dehydrated. It's like when my dad dehydrates zucchinis to make zucchini chips in his little dehydrator. They put you in the Marvel dehydrator as your actor jury duty. You come out glistening, a little plumped with filler, and just ripped on the other side. And they say, "You've got a 5 to 7 year contract. We're doing 2 movies and a TV show. We're gonna get you in and out of here."
They say, all right,
A Harvey Weinstein production?
Oh, well, it was 2013.
Well, yes, of course. I did have a funny little IMDb trivia, the very first IMDb trivia about this movie that comes up. Because I initially was like, Harvey, and then I was like, Harvey producing a movie that the entire moral premise is about, like, child abuse, child labor. I was like, Harvey, the call is coming from inside the house.
Well, I mean, yeah, that doesn't shock me.
But I love this story from IMDb. It says, director Bong Joon-ho often clashed with producer Harvey Weinstein, we love to hear it, who frequently interfered with it in order to demand, quote, his version of the film. So Harvey wanted to inject himself into this movie. So among the many requests, the producer insisted on having the fish scene removed in favor of more action. If you remember the scene where all of the guys about to fight take their weapons and they gut the fish to sort of pre-bloody their weapons, and they pass this huge like tuna around by the tail, and it sort of kind of drags on for a bit, and then we enter the tunnel and we get the really awesome tunnel fight scene. Yeah. Which I love. But he wanted to cut that for more fighting, more action. And Bong, who considered it his favorite shot of the whole film, was adamant to keep it. And he told Harvey that he wanted to keep it for personal reasons as a tribute to his late father, who was a fisherman. And Harvey was like, family is really important to me, so I'll grant you the right to keep the shot. And then later in an interview, Bong Joon-ho said, that was a fucking lie. My father was not a fisherman and he is not dead. So he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna say whatever I want to get this fucking crazy man off of my fucking ass because I'm making my movie. Yeah. And I'm gonna be like, no, we need the fish shot for my dead dad. Like, no, I just spoke to him on the phone 20 minutes ago, actually. He's fucking fine. Manipulate Harvey Weinstein. We love to hear it. Did he have another heart attack in jail recently? I feel like I saw on Twitter that he was
every day I'm just surprised to find out that he's still alive.
I'm pretty sure I fraudulently announced that he was deceased on this podcast, and several people were like, that is misinformation. Harvey Weinstein is very much alive. And I was like,
could have fooled me. Could have fooled me.
I truly thought he had passed. I thought he died of COVID.
Well, he probably should have, but yeah.
I think he got COVID in jail and was like in a bad state. I guess my brain was just like, rip.
He's dead. Yeah.
Bye.
It's all just wishful thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
But I guess really lightning fast, if you haven't seen Snowpiercer, the premise is that global warming is rapidly increasing, so they create this cooling agent that they release into the air, and it's going to lower the temperature of the planet, but of course it works a little too well, and everything freezes. And simultaneously, this genius engineer named Wilford, he builds this train, and he sort of figures out that the train can go in a loop around the world, and it will take an entire year to make the cycle or whatever, and that the rest of humanity's population can live on this train, and they have this sort of self-sustaining ecosystem civilization that exists entirely on the Snowpiercer.
Sure.
And of course it's divided by class, with the engineer himself being at the very front where the engine is, to the rich people, the workers, all the way back to the very back of the train, which is just all of the lower class poor people who just sort of got shoveled on there and crammed in the back. And they're living in like destitute poverty.
Yeah, squalor.
Like actual, just unlivable conditions. And as we later learned, that they were sort of left to fend for themselves with no infrastructure or support in any way. Just sort of, you're on a train car with no supplies, fucking figure it out.
Yeah,
you're not frozen, so congrats, basically.
Yeah.
And we follow our protagonist, Chris Evans, his name is Curtis, and his sort of sidekick, Edgar, that's Jamie Bell, and they are going to try to start a revolution to get to the front of the train so that they can seize the engine. Because the concept is, if you have control of the engine, you control the world. You control all the people on the fucking planet. So if they can have some sort of class overturn, that maybe they can get out of, the back of the train, out of this poverty that they're in. And they're in this like fascist dictatorship regime where they are constantly guarded. There are men with guns barring them from entering other sections of the train. And then in a very epic moment, we find that Chris Evans observes that there's no bullets in the guns because bullets, if they have no resources to make new things. They've
gone extinct.
Yeah, it's much like cigarettes, they don't have the stuff to make them, so they just don't exist anymore.
Marlboro Lights.
Oh my god, when those people jumped after that cigarette on the ground and were about to beat each other up for it.
Real. So real.
They basically have the beginnings of a successful revolution where they begin to move through the train. And as they get closer and closer to the front, of course, the cars get nicer and more hyper-specific in their use. Like there's just one car just for saunas, right? And of course, all these people are living in one single car in the back, and there are all these huge cars just being used for just like luxurious, opium den parties.
Club car, or the aquarium car,
the sushi bar, very that. And so Tilda Swinton is basically the middleman between Wilfred, the conductor, and the people at the back. She plays Minister Mason, which I love that they address her as Sir. They say, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And she basically comes back and tells them, hey, just because we're stealing your babies doesn't mean that you have rights or should even be upset. She said, I am a
what
hat,
are you
you are
flipping out about?
I am a hat, you are a shoe. I go on the head, you go on the foot. Miss Tilda slays the house down boots, and they freeze that guy's fucking arm off for being upset that they took his son.
Yep.
Also, Miss Octavia Spencer shouts out to Mom.
Yes,
she goes unscathed. She's the other parent whose child gets taken. And she is the one who starts the sort of hullabaloo. And this other guy gets his arm froze clean off. Ma, unscathed, slipping right through their fingers.
It's because he threw the shoe. So
that is true.
Yeah.
But they make it up through the train. They have to fight their way there, basically, and they're learning more and more about the corruption and how shitty it all really is. And they basically link up with this security expert who's like in a filing cabinet.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was like prison or something. Right? Didn't they say it was prison?
Or just like said it like he was like sedated and put to sleep and they just put him in a filing cabinet. Honestly, I feel like that would be awesome for your back.
That's called my year of rest and relaxation.
Fucking for real. But that's Namgoon. They call him Nam most of the time. Yeah. That's how Chris Evans refers to him. But that's Kang Ho Song, who was the same actor who plays the protagonist in Parasite. He's like the main dad.
Yeah.
So he and Bong Joon-ho are like fucking tight. And
those two are besties.
Yeah, have a great working relationship. I love to see his range as an actor just within those two Bong Joon-ho films. Like he fucking nails it. Bong really knows how to like utilize him and like his energy.
Yeah.
And him and his daughter Yona, they're in this basically like holding area, and they are addicted to this substance called chronol, which is basically like the industrial waste output from the train that has been condensed into like a hallucinogenic drug that people just kind of huff. You just kind of huff it. And so Chris Evans, for some reason, is able to get like a fuck ton of this no problem from the back of the train.
He's got a guy. He's just got a guy.
And he like uses it as a bargaining chip to be like, if you can get us up through the train, I'll give you these drugs, basically. And he's like, fucking deal, sure, whatever. He sort of seems to have his own MO, right? He's helping Chris Evans, but he's a little distant, a little off. It's almost like he's got something else going on. And they make it up through the train. They do a lot of cool fighting. They go through a tunnel at one point. And they all fucking fight in the dark. It's cool as shit. The guy runs up with the torch. Fucking epic. That's the other thing, is that this movie doesn't sacrifice any awesome action scenes for like intricate world building and storytelling.
No,
it does it so effectively right from the jump that we don't really need to harp on anything for too long, and it leaves a lot of space for those really awesome action sequences.
The ratios were perfect, in my opinion.
Pacing, amazing. Length, awesome. It's just overall phenomenal.
It is a lot, I will say, at certain points to realize, oh wow, these people are just bludgeoning each other to death.
Brutal movie. The scene where they freeze, they put his arm in the manhole to freeze it on the outside.
Yeah.
Watching him go through the stages of like pain and then numbness and then extreme pain. and then numbness again. And it's just like, the direction on everything is fucking crazy, and the violence is like visceral and brutal to watch.
Yeah, they do not, they're pretty unflinching with it.
Yes, which I appreciate, right? Respect for your audience. Like,
well, I mean, God, like, yeah, even just the Octavia Spencer kill was insane.
My favorite kill of the whole movie is Tilda Swinton when he just murks her. When he's like, "You are no longer useful to me," and he just shoots her point blank and moves on. Like, she is no longer useful to me. Let's keep the ball rolling. Like, that is, eat the rich. Like, that's correct.
We'll circle back to Tilda, though. We'll go back to that.
The film ends with Chris Evans making it to the front of the train. Like basically everyone has fucking died at this point.
Yeah.
And our benevolent conductor, fucking Ed Harris, steps out and is like...
I was really wondering who was going to play him.
And was that like a jump scare for you?
I wouldn't say a jump scare. I knew it was going to be like someone that I would know, but yeah, I guess I just wouldn't have thought Ed Harris, but I was fine with it.
It almost felt like they were trying to do a Kevin Spacey in Seven moment, where it's like the big reveal of the big bad, right? Where it's like, we didn't put his name in the opening credits, you know, to throw you off or whatever. But I'm like, it's just Ed Harris. Like, it didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really just Ed Harris. It didn't need to be. If it was like Tom Hanks or something, then like, I get it. The crunchy CGI Tom Hanks from the Polar Express is the captain of the Snowpiercer as well. We get like the poorly rendered Tom Hanks. That's what I want.
Chris Evans has to go through that creepy ass marionette car.
Yes. He has to do the hot chocolate jazz dance to get up there.
One step out of line, shot in the face.
They said that grapevine was subpar. Let me pre-bloody my sword with this fish guts before I murk your ass.
Before I decapitate you in front of Santa Claus.
Oh my god. You get a question, you get a question, and you get a question. Jen is feeling like Oprah this week because I'm making her hold her mic up like a pop diva. Jen is here to do Chocolate or Vanilla, her interim podcast segment where she says two things and we all say which one we like better. Jen, hi, how are you? And is there a theme this week?
The theme is Avengers actors in non-Avengers movies.
Oh thank God. Okay.
I was going to say Avengers theme and see if Emily turned green and puked.
Emily hulked out. But so you're not saying...
My head just would have popped.
Can I clarify, you're not going to say, like, RDJ in Avengers versus RDJ in Zodiac, because you know we're just always going to pick the other thing,
no,
right?
Two non-Avenger movies for each Avenger.
Love that. Because honestly, I think the only person I would say Avengers for is, what's his name? Actually, I shouldn't talk bad about him. He just got in a bad snowmobile accident. But Jeremy Renner, he's never been good in anything.
That was like a year ago.
At least in this movie, he's silent.
More than a year ago.
It's still sad. It's still sad that it happened to him. I found all about it on the Jeremy Renner app that I have on my phone, obviously.
You have a Jeremy Renner app?
No, you don't know about the Jeremy Renner app? He tried to launch his own social media in like 2013, and it was like, it's the Jeremy Renner app. And it was just his own, like, he just did not have a fundamental understanding of what a social media was. He's like, yeah, I'm making an app for people to talk about me. Like, it's the Jeremy Renner app. And everyone was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But that's where I got all my news from. That's my credible news source, is the Jeremy Renner app.
Yeah, fuck lawyers.
So, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
I'm going to say chocolate this week.
Crazy.
I know,
did you eat that hummus I bought you?
I did. It's really...
You hated it.
No, it's my midnight snack. Like, when I wake up to pee at 3 a.m. and I need something a little sweet before I can go back to bed, and I dip 3 pretzels in it, and I eat it, and then I go back to sleep.
Mm-hmm. It feels like eating brownie batter, like you're a little bit like naughty, but you can have as much of it as you want. Other than that, it's like 120% of your daily sugar for a tablespoon, and that's how much I put on one chip, bitch.
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt it.
I love, you really eat a little something at 3 a.m. after you pee?
Yeah, absolutely.
I go directly back to bed.
Well, the best part about Emily's is that you actually don't have to pass the fridge between. You have to go out of your way to go from the bathroom to the fridge to the bed. I've got the excuse. I walk right by it. That shredded cheese is calling my name. You're seeking it out.
It's because the last place I lived, I had to pass by the pantry every time I wanted to pee in the middle of the night, and so I would just have a little nibble and then hit the hay. And now,
21 days makes a habit.
Yeah, and I've definitely got a midnight snack on my mind.
So I will say chocolate also. Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
Chocolate.
Strawberry.
Yeah, I'm gonna go strawberry also.
Mm-hmm.
So first one is Chris Evans in Knives Out or Scott Pilgrim.
Ooh, actually both good. I
think I'm gonna have to go Knives Out on this one. I actually forget that I enjoy that role of his.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Knives Out. I love an ensemble movie like that, even though Scott Pilgrim has a banger cast too.
Also true.
Next one, Chris Hemsworth. Hemsworth.
He's Australian. Hemsworth. Ooh.
Hemsworth. Snow White and the Huntsman, or the 2012 Red Dawn.
These are both movies that like somebody made to get a tax write-off. Like it's some sort of like, we need to spend $50 billion or else the IRS gets it. So we need to make a movie. Like all those like fake Netflix movies produced by the Obamas now. Chris Hemsworth is in those. I have no fucking idea. What is Red Dawn?
Oh, you don't know Red Dawn?
It's a remake.
In 84. It was Patrick Swayze and
Jennifer Grey.
C. Thomas Howell.
Well, then that's offensive to me. So I'll pick Snow White and the Huntsman, I suppose.
Yeah, I'll also go Snow White and the Huntsman on this one, strictly because I like the K-Stew Snow White representation.
I think I would like to see that, even though I never have, but I'll go with Red Dawn.
It seems up your alley.
Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things or 13 Going on 30?
Ooh, he was so good in Poor Things. Even though like Emma Stone was fucking acting circles around his ass and it was like almost embarrassing, it would have been even more embarrassing if he wasn't also like really fucking killing it. Like anyone who was in that role was gonna get outshined, and he almost held his own with as much as he could do. So I must give him props.
Yes, I truly think that Robert Downey Jr. winning for Oppenheimer that year was a fucking shame. Because I absolutely adored Mark Ruffalo's performance in Poor Things. I
agree with you that he should have beaten Robert Downey Jr., but I'm going to go with 13 Going on 30 because I love a cheesy movie. Next one is ScarJo in Marriage Story, Chef, or as the voice of Ka in the live-action Jungle Book.
But no, I guess I'll say her in Chef, because all she does is, like, have sex with that guy because he makes really good pasta, which honestly relatable. So I'll pick her in that. But honestly, fuck her in everything. Emily and I started watching Lucy to do as like a joke episode, and then we realized it's made by the same pedophile who made Leon the Professional. And we were like, fuck. We
turned it off.
We cannot. Yeah, we just turned it off. But yeah, I'll say Chef. Why not?
I'll go Marriage Story because I think that at least she tried to act.
No, that scene of her dancing and she looks like she's in an antidepressant commercial. I feel like that all the time.
That's how you felt walking out of the substance.
I'm gonna go with Chef. Next one is Brie Larson in Hoot with Logan Lerman in 2006, or as the narrator of Fantastic Fungi, The Magic Beneath Us, the mushroom documentary.
Absolutely.
Mushroom documentary. No, the correct thing to say was Room, obviously. Love Brie Larson in Room. Hoot, the movie Hoot, based on the young adult novel by Carl Hyacin, who's like not typically a young adult author. He's like, he writes books for your grandpa sort of vibes.
Sure.
And it's about like saving the owls. And I remember watching the movie because I read the book. But no, I'll pick her in the fungus documentary, of course. I bet she killed it.
Yeah, I might have to turn that on after this, actually. So I'm gonna go for fungi.
Let's learn about some mycelium networks. Let's really get in the ground.
I'm gonna go with Hoot. Next one is Samuel L. Jackson. So Pulp Fiction, or as the voice of the audiobook, Get the F to Sleep.
Is that like for, it's a children's book?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of that one?
I've heard this, yeah.
I don't think so.
Go the F to Sleep, yeah.
Pulp Fiction, obviously.
I'm picking Go the Fuck to Sleep.
I'll go with Pulp Fiction. Next one, Robert Downey Jr. So Oppenheimer, Dr. Dolittle in 2020, or Lesson Zero in 1987.
Dr. Dolittle, that's another tax write-off movie. That's for sure. That's for sure. Disney needed to separate some well funds or something. Mm-hmm. What was my first choice?
Oppenheimer.
Oh,
yeah, like I guess I have to, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll go Oppie on this.
I'll go Oppie as well. Next one is Tom Holland as the voice of Ian in Onward, or as the voice of Sho in Secret World of Arrietty, 2012.
He was in... that's crazy. I did not know that he was in that movie. That's wild. Onward leaves a bad taste in my mouth because it's the last movie I saw in theaters before the pandemic closed everything down. So it's really sad because that's not what I want my last theater experience to be. That movie was so mid. So I guess I'll pick him in the Arrietty. I've never seen that movie, but I probably should. I should now.
I don't know. I'm just gonna tack on to you, Dara.
Yeah, that's Saoirse Ronan is the main character.
Absolutely. Then wild. I will be picking that.
You guys would like the animation. You should check it out. Next one is our boy Jeremy Renner. American Hustle, Arrival, or Hansel and Gretel.
None. Flop, Tina.
You gotta pick something.
I guess I'll pick him.
It's the rules.
I'll pick him in Arrival because that whole movie I just did not like. So at least he was there for me to just glom onto as another reason.
I'm just gonna go American Hustle, I guess, because I haven't seen Arrival yet.
I will go with American Hustle also. Next one is Zoe Saldana in Avatar: Way of Water, or in Westworld.
Oh, she's so fucking good in Westworld.
I know Em hasn't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's great in Avatar: The Way of Water as well, but I'm gonna say Westworld. I love that show. Seasons 1 and 2, but season 1 of that show, some of the best TV ever written.
Okay. I will tack on and just jump on the Westworld train, because I trust you.
Especially if you're on a sci-fi kick right now, Emily, that actually might really... Just all you really have to watch is season 1.
Okay, what's it on?
And it has Ed Harris is in it as well. It's HBO.
Fabulous.
Some HBO programming.
It's also a remake from like the 60s.
Brilliant.
Well, yes. Okay. As is everything.
I can get down with that. Yeah, really.
I will go with Westworld also. And that was it for my Avengers actors in non-Avengers movies.
Very nice.
Avengers actors, when they're not doing their jury duty and serving the Marvel overlords, they get to pursue other things, which we love for them after they've been dehydrated by the machine. Thank you, Jen, as always, for being here and for asking us questions. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
All right. I love you guys. Have an awesome night.
Bye, Jen.
Bye. The big thing is that Wilford basically reveals that the engine is so benevolent because it runs on child labor. Because, certain things just go extinct, certain pieces, and you need little fingers to get in there and to do the work. And so that's why they've been snatching kids from the back. It's that they make them live inside the engine to manually keep the train running. And there's this moment where they're saving the kid, but then, the engine does stop. And if the engine stops, everyone fucking dies. Or so they think, because Namgun and his daughter Yona had this sort of plan, this sub-plan going on where they weren't really huffing the chrono. They were collecting it and compacting it because
I think Namgun was definitely huffing the chrono.
He was huffing it a little bit, but he's like if you sniff it, it's still flammable. So it doesn't seem to go down. You're not like snorting it or anything. You're just sort of taking a little sniffy sniff.
Yeah.
But he's basically, he's making a bomb, and he has this theory that every year he has been observing the snow has been melting a little bit, that this key landmark of his is this plane that crashed.
Yeah.
And every year he can see a little bit more of the plane, indicating that the snow is melting. So he, in his mind, other people have tried to escape in the past and have gone outside, but immediately have just fucking froze to death. Like previous rebellions and uprisings.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's like, I'm going to blow up the train. But the other big drop is that Wilford is like, hey, John Hurt, fucking Gilliam, who's been your old wise man in the back of the train, him and I have actually been in cahoots this whole time, and that we sort of organize these uprisings and rebellions to do population control, essentially, because the train, can't get too populated if there's too much for resources and stuff. We sort of plan these in a sort of vague roundabout way, and that's how the whole system, everything needs to stay in its place. And he's like, I'm gonna die soon. I want you to be the conductor and take over. And Chris Evans is like, I am not morally bankrupt, so absolutely the fuck not. I'm saving these kids, even if it means that we all die. Like, that's not how it should be. And then subsequently, Namgun fucking blows up the door of the train, and everyone explodes and dies. That's what makes a Subaru, babe. That train, the fact that anyone was left alive, I'm like, that's crazy, because they were
the derailing scene, and watch it, like, everyone got there was a whole back of the train left, a whole giant population left behind there, and you just watch them dive off of a cliff, and that's that.
Yep, and basically it's insinuated that the two survivors are Yona and Octavia Spencer's young son, Timmy, who was being used for child labor, and that the two of them,
of course,
step outside. They do not immediately die, and they see a polar bear. And that sort of insinuates that there's capacity for life outside the train. To me, that means they're gonna get eaten by a polar bear. That's what that means to me. Like, this movie, I'm like, you're the last two people on Earth, so what's that gonna do you? Nothing.
Sure.
Can't, that is simply, you cannot do anything with that. And you're about to get eaten by a polar bear. But ultimately it's a good ending, because, we learned that the perseverance of the proletariat, you gotta, the system does not allow for peaceful protest, and therefore we must persevere. It's overall, it's a good message, but the very ending is sort of like, well, I guess logistically I have to hope that this works out.
It gives you very little wiggle room for, a really positive ending. But hey, the child labor stopped.
Yeah, the train blew up.
Everyone's dead, but there's no more child labor.
Huzzah!
But I'm always very much pro, an ending where the Earth takes itself back. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad about it.
As it should.
I'm very much pro let the human race die.
Right. Yeah, we do not belong here. There's too many of us. It's fucked.
If it was me and one other person and I had to procreate to save the human race, no, I'm done.
Not happening.
Me. Not happening. Mm-mm.
Also, only two people, your chances of success there are not guaranteed.
Slim, girl, slim. Chances of eating up this role, if you're Tilda Swinton, though?
100%. Well, eating up any role. Honestly, Tilda Swinton, one of the best to ever do it. Tilda Swinton also...
Absolutely. I think she picks her films so smart. So smartly. I don't know. I think she has such amazing filmography, almost zero misses.
Yeah,
and this is certainly a great one to bookmark in her career.
Her and Bong also, if you like her in this, you'll love her in Okja. She hams it up.
Oh my god.
She's another one, he really knows how to utilize her, and she really knows how to like play to her strengths, because she does have this sort of alien, erudite-esque look about her, right? So he is always putting her in these...
some fuck-ass shit.
in these like fucked positions of power, and she's so good at playing like a cracked out power hungry bitch.
It's amazing.
Her accent in this, fucking crazy. She's doing some high class like Scottish or something.
I couldn't even tell you.
It's so silly. She's got a gold tooth. She pulls out her dentures at one point for almost
the dentures
no
drop
reason.
is insane. No, I don't. It was like to try and get any sort of
sympathy. Yeah, like
sympathy. Obviously,
she was trying to humanize herself, and she said, "Snatching my dentures."
The dentures drop was truly crazy.
She said, "Wilford may be an engineer, but he's not a dentist, and the teeth are extinct. They had to go."
They've been gone for a while.
It's also pretty hilarious that we go through this train and we see it from the outside and it looks fucking huge, but we really only see like probably a dozen different cars, because we start from the back and we end at the front. And we essentially see the very back, and then like where the bugs, the internal bug incinerator goo machine.
Course. Yeah.
Big drop, of course. And then we sort of get into like the more mid-level labor cars, which are like all the farming and the agriculture and the fish. And then we get into the bougier, the restaurant car, the sauna cars, the hot tub car, the party cars, all the way to the front.
Where do these people live?
Yeah,
Where do they live? I would have loved to see some, like, actual, like, domicile cars.
Right? Well, it almost just seems like they all sort of stay where they are, which I really love as a concept, because it sort of just makes things very simple. If you think too hard about how these people would move throughout this train, it gets really messy. So I like the production design aspect of this phrase that they keep using of like everyone has a place, like stay in your place, there's a place for everything, stay in it. And Tilda Swinton does this hand motion where she basically like she has her three fingers out and she like pushes forward, turns, and then claws back in. And my favorite part about this movie is that we learn at the end that is the manual labor motion that the children have to do to keep so that's her saying like, we need the kids to keep the engine running. Everyone needs to be in their place. Turn your cog, do your part, basically. But I love this insinuation that the people in the sauna car don't ever leave the sauna car. You're in the sauna car. You hang out there forever.
Pruned.
Right? Girl. The hot tub car. I'd be atrophied from the waist down. Like, I can't even walk anymore. I've just been in this hot tub for 17 years.
Which car are you hanging out in? If you gotta pick a car. I'm chilling in the aquarium car.
The aquarium one is pretty dope. I would have to say that if it's an end of the world situation, like, give me the opium den. I want a KMS. Like, I am not trying to hang out on this train. Absolutely not. You should as well. You get motion sick. Like, this does not seem like it's going to be fun. So I would love for there to be like a library car. If they could stick me in the...
I think they had one.
They had a classroom. But yeah, I like the idea that we don't see all the cars, I don't think. Yeah. We don't really see their full beginning to end passage. I think it's sort of insinuated that they pass through areas. But like, I like the idea that teacher doesn't leave the room. That's why she's cracked. Like, she's this crazy teacher spreading this propaganda, because that's what she's doing 24/7. She doesn't get to leave. That's her place, right? I like that within the context of the movie. We don't ever see anyone out of their designated section, which makes everything really like dramatized and like to the nth degree. Shout out to Alison Pill. Love her. She was in Scott Pilgrim. She's the girl drummer in Scott Pilgrim. She was the teacher. She played Dick Cheney's gay daughter in Vice.
Yeah, she was recently the mother in that new M. Night Shyamalan one, Trap.
Oh, really? Interesting. I didn't see that one, but I saw a lot of people talking about it on the internet.
I really liked it. I thought it was fine, but
I don't really care for a Shyamalan. I don't like when the point is the twist. I like
Yeah.
I like a twist to just be like a well-written plot point, not
exactly.
like
and
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop kind of thing.
Yep, and that's exactly what this movie was. I didn't know there was going to be a big twist like that. I didn't know, I mean, like, I knew the dead baby's monologue, but I didn't know that he was going to be like, hey, Chris, hey, baby, we planned all of this. You want to do it?
But if we want to get into our regularly scheduled programming after this enlightening and really fun discussion. Ooh, so who do we play Fuck, Marry, Kill with? Honestly, I think Jamie Bell's character is supposed to be a 17-year-old boy. Isn't that
Which
crazy?
Is nuts.
Isn't that crazy? When Chris Evans said the line, like, I was 17 when I boarded the train, and then I started doing cannibalism, and I was about to eat a baby, and you know who that baby was? Albert Einstein. No. He said that very baby was Jamie Bell. And I'm like, so you were like 18 and Jamie Bell was a baby? But
it doesn't make any sense.
In real life, I'm pretty sure those two men are like 7 years apart in age. Like, maybe not even. I'm like, what do you mean? But
yeah. That was a bit of a stretch.
That's neither here nor there, but I do think Jamie Bell was supposed to be a 17-year-old boy, so I'm going to omit him. Do we want to say, do we want to do Tilda Swinton?
Yeah. Tilda.
Wilford.
I don't want to do Wilford.
Yeah, fuck it. No, okay, let's do Nam Goon, Tilda Swinton, and then Chris Evans. They seem primary.
I mean, you have to kill Tilda Swinton.
You have to.
You have to.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Namgoon is very smart, and we don't get to see a whole lot of like who he is as a person. It's mostly him scheming.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll stick with him. I'll marry him. I think.
I would agree. I'll fuck Chris Evans. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll fuck Chris Evans. I can't do the brooding, like, I feel like he has things on his conscience that will never go away, and I simply cannot help him. There's nothing to be done. He is a broken man, and it's not my job to fix him, and I don't want to fix Chris Evans. So I'm going to go for Knob.
And you know what? I would not have wasted that fucking sig. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you that, Chris Evans. I have no respect for that man. For your monologue. The last cigarette.
Don't get me wrong. I've been there with the joint, and I'm telling a story, and everyone's pissed at me because I'm holding on to it and not hitting it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm a yapper.
I'm a yapper. What can
I say? I'm entertaining. I'm doing a monologue. You've got me monologuing.
Last cigarette on earth. Oh no, I am taking the 3-4 minutes by myself, not saying a word, and sucking that thing down.
I'd be like, I don't deserve this. I'd be like, I don't think this should be for me. I'm like, we need to use this as a bargaining chip. Because did you see the way that they desperately clamored for it back there? Like, I don't know.
Marlboro Lights.
I think the right person would do some crazy shit for the world's last cigarette. Like, you find the right person to use that as a bargaining chip with, and that would go crazy.
True enough.
And I have to shout out, if we're fuck, marrying, and killing on the whole car, I have two people I want to especially shout out in this movie.
Okay, hold on.
Well, not even in the specific fuck, marry, kill sense, but there were just two really minor characters in this movie.
Are you gonna say the boy that runs and rips his shirt off and then stabs someone in the neck?
Yeah, you mean fucking Freddy from Skins, bitch? Yet another Skins actor who has made it to the fucking top. I'm obsessed with the original Skins UK series casting. They just found kids like off the street and in schools, and they put them in this show. And all of them are A-list fucking celebrities to this day. Yep. Dev Patel, what's his name from fucking, he's in Mad Max Fury Road, and
yes,
the gangly one.
Nicholas Hoult.
Get Out, what's his name?
Daniel Kaluuya.
Daniel Kaluuya, so many original Skins people who have just like blasted to fame, and I love plucking a former Skins member and adding them to a movie because I think his name is Luke Pascalino. He was Freddy on series 2 of Skins. He was like the main hot boy, and he was just like fucking. He didn't say jack shit. He just ran around and looked hot, and I love that for him.
He certainly looked hot in this.
But do you know who chewed up every fucking scene he was in and didn't say a single word, acted fucking circles around everyone, was this Romanian actor named Vlad Ivanov, who just plays the hitman, Wilfred's hitman from the front of the train, who is ruthless. He will kill the other guards, he will kill the other rich people, he will kill anyone. And he just can't fucking die. Like, he gets stabbed like 9 times and shot, and he just keeps getting back up and just like looking so brutal. That man's performance absolutely blew me out of the water. No dialogue, only action scenes, and you fully understood his character and his character's purpose, right? But so I'm gonna fuck Freddy from Skins. I'm not gonna fuck around with Vlad because he's honestly really scary. But I'm gonna marry the artist, the sketch artist. I really liked how important and integral he was in the revolution. They were like, his drawings that he did held so much currency because they just didn't have media like that. So him like documenting things was valued so much. And I think like art used in that way, like journalism and photography and, you know, keeping records of things, like artists in that sense aren't always like valued. So I like that they were like, he needs to come, he needs to draw this, like this needs to be, we need to remember this, it's important. So I'm gonna marry the artist, and then I'm gonna kill Wilfred, of course. Sicko.
Well, yeah,
you little sick fuck.
I'll kill Wilfred as well. I'm going to, I think I'm gonna fuck, I think his name is Gray.
Sure.
Luke I don't know how to say his last name. Pascalino, thank you. I'm gonna fuck him. I'm gonna... who do I marry? I'll marry Edgar. I thought he was cute.
Yeah.
And I'm not buying it that he's 17, so whatever.
Yeah, sure. Those tap-in toes. That's a 35-year-old man with those tap-in toes. You can't fool me.
Exactly.
You can't fool me. Oh my god, I just realized the Fantastic Four crossover as well. That Chris Evans was Johnny Storm in the original Fantastic Four movie adaptation, and then Jamie Bell was in the shitty interim one. Interesting.
Love.
I am holding on to my hope for the new one with Pedro Pascal and my boyfriend Joseph Quinn. I'm hoping.
I'm excited. I'm not mad about it.
I hope they don't flub it, but we'll see. I have no faith in Marvel, but we'll see.
No. What are you eating and drinking with this? I feel like you play protein bar roulette at like Whole Foods or something like that.
That would be so funny. Everyone at the function brings a different protein bar and you like do a grab bag and you just have to munch on whatever you get. But
basically,
you know the bathroom would be blowing up after that. Everyone eats a Fiber One bar. No, ma'am.
I think you do that and then you have like a gin martini.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah, this movie you don't really, it's so visceral and nasty.
I don't want to eat anything.
Don't. And the only thing they eat are these like gummy protein blocks that we then learn are made of bugs, which, where are the bugs coming from? Not the outside, that's for damn sure.
Who's to say?
What happens when we run out of bugs? Like, also...
Back to babies, I guess.
I just think Chris Evans' reaction to that, I get that the eternal bug inferno into jelly block machine is kind of scary. But come on, Chris Evans. A, what did you think it was? And
it's
B,
not that bad.
It could have been so much. It could have been human waste. It could have been like literal human, again, it could have been you were cannibalizing dead people. So
it could have been a lot worse.
The bugs was really not that bad. Suck it up.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think, of course, you make a Jell-O shot. I guess what they did, the way that they made those scary-looking Jell-O blocks was that they used, like, ground-up seaweed and gelatin.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
And something else, and that they really had to like bite into them, and that there were a lot of mixed reviews. Like Tilda Swinton like really liked them, but Jamie Bell was like, this shit is nasty. But it's like, you know, like a seaweedy jelly, which I feel like could almost be, you could turn that into like a cunty little Jello shot, like a savory Jello shot. I think if you really want to Michelin star your way into figuring some shit out, I think you could make like a pretty fire, do like sake, like a sake seaweed Jello shot. That could actually be pretty good.
Let's get America's Test Kitchen on this.
Right? And then I think what you should eat is, I feel like in the back of the train, the peasants, they were like making the most of what they got. And I can really picture them like getting one of those infinity stews going. What do they call that? Forever soup? Or whatever.
Yep, forever soups.
Like a crock pot that you just keep throwing shit in and you just keep it, we're just going to keep it going, you know? So I think you do some sort of like infinity soup. Everyone brings a different ingredient. And we make a big stew. And, you know, because eating anything decadent during this movie is going to feel classist and morally wrong.
Yeah.
I don't want sushi. I don't want champagne.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anything that is going to make me relate to Tilda Swinton here. No. So I'm going to eat my humble stew. I'm going to eat my humble pie.
I like that.
Yeah, take my Jello shots.
Yeah, fuck it. Might as well.
What movie are you going to follow this up with?
I think you have to do Okja, honestly.
Yeah, I love.
No, it's hard to follow something this good up. And I think that you just gotta raw dog some more Bong Joon-ho.
And that's why I'm so excited for Mickey 17, because really I'm like, the only person who can outdo Bong is Bong. Like, everything he does, I am like pleasantly surprised and just like enlightened and so excited to see his take. And it just like, I'm like, oh my God, that was maybe not better, but just like better in a different way than the last one. I really should go back and watch some of his older Korean movies, because this is the first, I think, of his canon. You know, I think this is the first one I've seen. So I think he's got a Korean movie called like The Host. That's like kind of more like horror, I think, that people really like. I don't know. I should probably watch that. But I think you take two very key elements from this movie, Marxism and bugs, and you watch a Bug's Life. Well, duh. Well, yes. Right? Let's learn about anti-capitalism from the food source. Let's get down there. Let's get down there with the grasshoppers.
I think that is an excellent recommendation.
And I'm like, yeah, think about bugs.
Yeah, fuck it.
And
very nice.
Out of 10, I'm gonna give this movie an 8. I give it a hard 8. I fucking love this movie. Really, I'm excited that we covered it and talked about it, because sometimes I feel like we don't cover enough stuff that we actually enjoy. I'm such a hater. I'm like, I need to be happy and excited about something for once. I need these people to know that I'm not just like a nasty bitch. So I like this. Shouts out. And shouts out to everyone who DM'd us and told me to go see The Substance. I went and saw it last night. Emily, I'm encouraging you to see it so we can cover it over on the Patreon.
Absolutely, I will.
Miss Demi serves. Miss Margaret serves. It was as exciting as people are reporting it to be. Okay. The hype is real. So check out The Substance if you like really graphic, brutal, crazy shit. I would say this movie is a good benchmark. If you could handle this movie maybe a little bit more. I would say if you're nervous about body horror, my point of reference is like The Fly, right? I think if you could handle the visceral nastiness of The Fly, then you can handle The Substance.
Okay, good. I was gonna ask if it was something that you thought I could deal with.
It's pretty camp as well. It's pretty campy, so it's a lot, but it also like is a little tongue-in-cheek. It is satire, so I think that helps. That helps, me as a viewer, when it's less like actual like torture porn and more just like something kind of absurd. But yeah, shouts out to everyone who suggested that, and please keep suggesting new movies, old movies, any movies, movies on theme, movies off theme. Let us know what you want us to cover. We pull from listener suggestions all the time, whether you know it or not. We keep the list, of course. You can DM us, let us know anything, or if you tell us about what TV show you're watching right now. Let us know,
please, what
you think about really any, movies, TV. We love all of that stuff, and we love to talk to you guys. And if you could leave us some stars wherever you're listening to, if there's an option to give us a review, please don't tell us that we got a 1-star review that said that we were like a boring and terrible Boring.
Probably.
Oh no, it said boring. I think we are annoying, yes, but I don't think we're boring. I would agree with like maybe like unprofessional, yes, maybe, but not boring.
I think that we definitely stay in our lane, but that's fine. That's called having a brand.
Well, yes. And shouts out to our friends over on the Biconic podcast. I think we're gonna be on an episode of theirs coming up real soon. So go check them out. They were just on our last couple episodes ago. We covered The Idea of You, so you can find the link to their show there. But you should go check it out because we're gonna be on their podcast and we're gonna talk about just some topical pop culture-y gay shit. So go listen to that. Thank you all for listening. Fucking the proletariat will rise. We need to blow up the train, you guys. Like, I'm being fucking serious. We need to blow up the train. Like, free Palestine. I don't know. Like, we need to. I don't even know. It's feeling the train is deteriorating and it's going down and
rapidly.
And it's getting really scary. So I'm sorry to end you on that note. But goodbye, good night, and have a lovely rest of your week.